Now that we have Composer installed, we're ready to start using it to manage our project dependencies. Let's open our workspace. We start by creating a new file named composer.json. The JSON format for this file looks like this: open curly bracket, within quotes, require, colon, open curly brackets. And finally, the package we wish to install. The package name consists of a vendor name and the project's name. Often these will be identical. The vendor name simply exists to prevent naming clashes. It allows two different people to create the same library name, but the vendor would be different. For this example, we're going to add monologue, where the vendor name is the same as the project's name. For projects with a unique name, this is recommended. It also allows adding more related projects under the same namespace later on. If you are maintaining a library, this would make it really easy to split it up into smaller, decoupled parts. In quotes, we type monologue / monologue, followed by a colon. Next, our version number. For this example, we are using 1.0. Version constraints can be specified in several ways, and we'll be covering those in more detail in a later session. We then close our curly brackets and save the file. Moving to our console, we type composer space install, which installs our dependencies. Let's take a look at what this actually looks like. Once we right-click and refresh our navigation on the left, you'll see a composer.lock file, as well as a vendor folder. Within the vendor folder, there will be an autoload.php file, which we will be using later to include these dependencies in our project, as well as a composer folder. There will also be folders for any dependencies that have been installed, in this case, monologue. The composer.lock file which is created contains a list of the exact versions of the packages which were installed. This locks the project to those specific versions. You should commit your application's composer.lock along with composer.json into version control. This is important because the install command checks if a lock file is present, and if it is, it downloads the versions specified there, regardless of what composer.json says. This means that anyone who sets up the project will download the exact same version of the dependencies. However, this also means that you won't get the package updates automatically. To update to the new version, use the update command. This will fetch the latest matching versions according to your composer.json file, and also update the lock file with the new version. If no composer.lock file exists, Composer will read the dependencies and versions from composer.json and create the lock file after executing the update or the install command. Let's go back to our composer.json file. In the composer.json file, let's change the version from 1.0 point star to simply 1 point star and save the file. Now going into our console, we will type composer space update. You will notice that it not only uninstalls the old version and installs the new version, it also installed a dependency of the new version, namely psr/log. If we refresh our navigation, you'll now see there is another PSR folder. There is one more way to add and update our composer.json file. That's directly in our command line by typing composer require the name of our package. In this case, we'll use twig/twig colon our version, Toby 1.0. Enter. This not only updates our composer.json file, but it also installs
the dependency and updates our lock and autoload files. So if we refresh our navigation, you'll now see a twig folder as well.
Congratulations! You have now learned the basics of using Composer to manage your project dependencies. In the following sessions, we will cover in more detail how to control these dependencies more precisely, as well as adding our own projects as dependencies.